Hey everybody, it's Kneecap here, and in this video we have the December beta update talking Retribution Paladin, and unfortunately we are not going to have very much to talk about. I'm going to kind of go over once again a bunch of issues with Ret Paladin on the beta and hope that we can get some changes coming in our way. It's worth pointing out here, we are in the holiday times. It is completely possible that the person who mostly works on this is just on vacation for holidays, etc., and that's why it's late, or that's why it didn't get any changes. Or very few changes. We'll go over the changes in which we did get. None of them super impactful. Well, none of them hype. None of them what we needed necessarily. And it's worth noting too. Enhancement Shaman got zero changes at all. Zero updates, zero notes, nothing. So it's not only Ret. But, you know, I'm pretty down bad about it because there just isn't much to test right now with Ret on the beta because of the state that it's in. It's not really a very testable state. And we've talked about it before with Herald of the Sun being, at least it works, I guess, kind of. So, but Templar doesn't really work correctly. We'll go over that again and talk about it. I will eventually test the things that they did change, but it's not very much. Let's get up to the Paladin stuff. Not very much Paladin stuff in general. If you're a prop Paladin, you're down pretty bad too. Melee damage increased by 100%. That's all you got. So, Retribution Light Within talent updated no longer grants Righteous Cause or Art of War when Avenging Wrath is cast. What that means is, before, when you would either use, if you had like Radiant Glory, whenever you used your Wake of Ashes, or if you're not playing Radiant Glory, whenever you press your Avenging Wrath, you would also get a free automatic Blade of Justice, an automatic Art of War proc. They basically just took that away. Now, this isn't a huge deal because you had so many other buttons that you need to press anyways that you were probably going to get an Art of War proc before it happened. So I kind of personally view this as a nothing burger. It's just a change to maybe make people not press their thing right away and like focus on getting their spenders out instead. Maybe it's like a clarity issue, just because we talked about having so many buttons to press and not having any time to press these other buttons, right? So maybe it's like trying to work on that. Give it the benefit of the doubt on that. It's not a huge deal though. If you actually play with it in the beta, or if you actually play on the beta, you know, you'll get enough procs of Art of War that you won't really notice that anyways. And it'll probably literally mean nothing to you that this change. You might not even notice it. Like if I didn't read it, or if you didn't go and read it, you may never even notice that change in particular. Judge, Jury, Executioner. This is actually kind of a big change. It now causes one Holy Power consuming ability to refund its cost instead of two. So basically, right here, Judge, Jury, Executioner. So with Herald, that would allow you to kind of spam some abilities real quick, because you also get a free Divine Purpose with Herald as well. So you can kind of spam your stuff. For Templar, this doesn't change much, especially if Templar ever gets fixed, or if we just get the second Hammer of Light anyways. It still won't matter because you'll still get refunded the first one and can do the second one if, you know, if it ends up being intended or whatever, right? I'm not to say it is, but if it was. So, not a huge deal. It definitely affects Herald more than Templar, because otherwise the second one's not as big a deal. You do two. So let's say they even want to do two Hammer of Lights. You do two Hammer of Lights, then you just would have a free Verdict or whatever, right? Or Divine Storm. But it affects Herald more directly. But obviously it affects both. It affects both at a small margin, but it definitely affects Herald more, I would say. Divine Resonance, I'm not sure what this actually means, but the way it's worded is Divine Resonance now grants the additional Holy Power instantly rather than waiting on the cast of an additional judgment. So I thought that would mean that right when you use Divine Toll, that it would give you 2 Holy Power instead of 1. But that doesn't appear to be how it's working. So how it's working is, and I guess it's my fault for not remembering how it was working before the change, right? Ultimately. But how it's working is just your judgment gives you the 2 holy power, right? So so you press divine toll, it only gives you 1 holy power, but now you have divine resonance. So I'm going to press judgment while divine resonance is active, and then that's going to give me 2 holy power. And then I'm going to do it again, it's going to give me 2 holy power. And then I'll spend something just so you can see again, and then again, it gives me 2 holy power. Now divine resonance has been expended, right? I'm not sure what the change is there. It reads as if it's a positive change, though, because it says it now grants additional holy power instantly. So was it not doing it instantly before? And I mean, it didn't seem like it was. Divine resonance didn't seem to do anything before. So yeah, so this could be a slight buff, I guess. But ultimately, like I was saying, it doesn't matter very much, because let's go over again the things that are mostly wrong. Herald is mostly okay, right? There's, of course, some things still wrong. But Templar, what's happening, and we'll go over it again, beat it into the ground, I guess. When we cast Divine Toll, right, it triggers Divine Hammer, but it's also triggering a Hammer of Light. A whatever. Yeah, Hammer of Light. It's triggering a Hammer of Light as well. Now, you still have to get the holy power for it, but with Judge Your Executioner, even with the 1, you can kind of still manipulate this to kind of do Hammer of Light, Divine Toll, Hammer of Light, right? Just right in a row. You waste a little bit. You waste 1 holy power, essentially, and you just get 2 quick Hammer of Lights. It does not say anywhere that that's how it's supposed to work. I've said a million times, if this is how it's supposed to work, I'm fine with that. It's actually cool, and it's a lot closer to the way retail currently plays on the War Within. So I am completely fine if this ends up being the case. That would actually be a good thing, even, I would say. I would go as far as say it's a good thing. But there's nothing on any tooltip saying that this is supposed to happen. It has 2 additional times on your target, single target damage. But there's nothing saying anywhere that that's how it's supposed to work. So and people have said that this is a protection paladin talent. So it's not supposed to be ours. So we're getting this wrong thing, or it needs to be updated on the thing. If this is how it's supposed to play, then everybody who's testing it right now is actually doing a very good job testing it, because it's going to be like, okay, this is how it's actually going to play. But if it's not, it needs fixed, because otherwise nothing else matters. You're completely overperforming by abusing this, and it's hard to play it without abusing it. It's not like you're abusing a bug and you're going to get banned. But it just needs to be clarified. If this is intended, it needs to be clarified, and if it's not intended, it needs to be fixed, right? The other big thing that this is the thing I was hoping for, honestly. It'd be a small thing, but I was still hoping for it. And it was our tier set. Just anything addressing our tier set. Is our tier set bugged, and that's why it's doing so low damage? I think it's bugged. I think it's supposed to be additive damage, meaning the longer the fight goes, the more damage it does. That's currently not the case. That's what I think it's supposed to do. I'm not sure, but that's what I think. Or it's working as intended, and it's just incredibly weak and needs an absolute either overhaul or just a huge buff, right? So it's hard to test anything, because our tier set, everyone else is using their tier set, we're using our tier set, and our tier set does nothing. So it's hard to compare how we're doing or how our damage feels when our tier set isn't doing any damage. And a lot of times the tier set's anywhere from like 10 to 20% of your damage or whatever, right? Increase. And so with tier set not really doing anything, doing like 3% added damage, it's hard to know like how that looks, right? And so tier set needs addressed. Is it bugged? Is it just need buffed? Whatever. Which is fine either way. I don't care either way. You can buff it. It can if it's broken, just fix it, whatever, right? I'm fine with either of those. And then the Templar thing. Like, are we supposed to get that extra? And I can just show you real quick. I've shown people before, but I guess it doesn't hurt to show on every video how this works. So let's say you're just kind of like doing your rotation or something. I have that on. I'm trying to figure out what my talents are. All right, so we're going to cast this. We're going to do Wake of Ashes, which is going to give us our first Hammer of Light, right? Now our thing refunds our 5 Holy Power, but I can just press Divine Toll, burn a Holy Power, and get another Hammer of Light instantly, right? That's basically the best way to kind of like abuse it. But there's nothing saying that we're supposed to get that Hammer of Light with our Divine Toll. And so that's what needs addressed, right? Like, I know I'm beating it to the ground, but it just needs said, because if that's not intended, then every single testing people are doing with Templar is just worthless. And I think most people are playing Templar on the beta. So it's like, if that's not intended, then that's bad. If it's intended, then great. Everything tested so far is fine. But it's so game breaking that it needs to be like update the tooltip or fix it, right? That's basically your options. So between the tier sets and that, it's very hard to test anything here on the beta, which is very disappointing. I might just do some more dungeons this week anyways, even though I'm pretty much gotten about everything I can out of that. I might just do some more anyways. There'll be more people doing them too, so it'll be easier to form groups, because every other thing except for Enhancement Shaman and Prop Pally. I mean, Paladin in general didn't get very much, but Prop Pally, RetPally, Enhancement Shaman, pretty down bad, I would say, as far as any kind of updates go. So, like I said, I might do more stuff, even though nothing got changed. Like, I was hoping this would be a big week to like be like, okay, this is the tier set now. Okay, this is how Templar works now. And talk about stuff like that, but unfortunately it's probably not gonna be the case. I say probably because, like I said, it could be possible the person's just on vacation and they'll come back on Friday or Thursday or something, or whatever, tomorrow, or what is today is Wednesday, so Thursday or Friday, whatever, or maybe they'll come back next week, whatever. That's also possible, or they're working on something else for the game and they had the class stuff's a little bit behind, whatever. Or it's right on schedule and it just feels like it's behind. I'm not here. I don't do anything where I'm like crapping on devs on my channel, and I don't really like that kind of stuff. So that's not what that's about. It's just about saying, hey, maybe there's actual real reasons why it's like nothing's getting fixed or whatever, right? Maybe there's actual reasons behind it. So I'm a little bit down. I'm feeling pretty down bad right now. I was really hoping to have some fun content to do, first of all, some fun doing dungeons with some new changes to Ret this week in particular, before Brawlers Guild next week on retail. But I'm a little bit disappointed here. Not much to talk about, and it's not looking great right now. And I played, I've been playing more retail since Legion Remix is like kind of winding down, right? And I've been playing more and more, and then I go from regular The War Within to this beta, and it does not feel good. Like, the difference is pretty stark. I mean, okay, Templar feels pretty similar, but only because I'm abusing that bug, or what I think is a bug, or what is supposedly a bug, right? If that's how it's supposed to feel, then honestly, guys, here's the reality. Let's end on a positive note. If Templar is supposed to get that divine hammer from your, not divine hammer, but your hammer of light, if it's supposed to get hammer of light from your divine toll, then it feels fine, and it's probably going to end up feeling fine. But if it's not, then it feels kind of slow, and it feels kind of bad in a lot of ways. But we'll see, right? We still have plenty of months to go, as we're saying too. We have like 3 months before this goes live, like almost exactly. So even if December is kind of like a losing month for us, we still have all of January, we still have all of February. And so I'm more down bad than I am dooming, to put it that way. Like, I'm down bad because I'm disappointed, but I'm not super dooming yet, because it's not like it's far away from being fun. Like I said, Templar would already be fine if the Hammer of Light's intended. Herald was already kind of fine. Like I said, there were just like a bunch of, you had too many buttons to press everything that's lighting up and telling you to press it. What I called like a bunch of bad choices, because none of them did any damage either. But like, you want to press them, but none of them do any damage. But like, a lot of these things are pretty easy fixes, and that's why I'm not doomed. And you shouldn't be doomed either. But it's okay to be disappointed. It's okay to be disappointed that your spec or whatever didn't get changes or didn't get fixed. But I'm not doomed yet. Now, if this happens, so if it becomes February or even like late January and it's like this, then I'll start dooming too. Don't get me wrong. I'll start dooming at that point. But I'm not going to prematurely doom on this, even though I am disappointed. I'm super disappointed. I was looking forward to playing beta all week, and now I probably won't play as much because there's nothing to do. So, yeah, I'll do some dungeons, I'm sure, just because now is the time to do them when everyone else wants to test their class out. But it's definitely disappointing to say the least. So, yeah, we'll call it quits on this one. We'll see if I have anything else to report, or if maybe changes come tomorrow, maybe changes come Friday, right? Maybe the person was just busy. That's also possible. So, a little down now, but we're not out. So as always, I do ask you to please subscribe to the channel. It helps me out a lot. If you're already a subscriber, I encourage you to check out the Patreon link down below. Other than that, everybody, have a good one.